Ooh, that's a jump scare. Okay, that's an initial jump scare. So, I'm reacting to a video by a YouTuber that I really, really respect called The Click. And the reason I'm reacting to this video is because one of my stories on this video. And I have so many more stories I could tell about this bully that I had in high school, but I'll just let the story time speak for itself. But I also feel the need to clear up a couple things because the way I told this story made my relationship with my mom and my sister seem so wholesome and so happy. And Click definitely picked up on that. And I just want to say it was a bonding experience for me and my mom, and a horrible burden for my sister because she lived in the room next door to me. We're twins and shit. She had to get up super early for her school because we went to different schools because of behavioral reasons that I needed more. We went to different schools. My fiance's in the other room if you're hearing another voice. So it was like a burden for her because every morning at 4:30 a.m. sharp, she would hear, wake me up inside. But it would be it would be Evanescence. It wouldn't be like that. But like I could tell so many stories about this bully. Like this girl is this person who did this horrible thing, so which caused me to do what I did. She's actually the reason my hair never gets past like the middle of my neck because she was a horrible fighter. Awful. Her stance was horrible. Her technique was horrible. She punched like a baby girl, and she knew this. So whenever we would get into like actual fucking physical fights that she would initiate, she would start it by pulling on the back of my hair as hard as she can. And she resorted often to pulling hair. So I shaved my head. All right.
Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. Welcome to the Click. You smell absolutely astounding today. Do you know what the
Good
best
evening, thank
weapon
you.
in the world is? You say like a sword, a nuclear bomb? You are not creative enough, my friend. The best way to do it is to turn trauma back as a weapon to people you want payback at. You know, another way to
Yes.
traumatize people is to make sure you smell them ahead of time, just to tell them how well they smell. Isn't that right, Freddy? Oh, yes, indeed, Freddy. Come closer, Freddy. You cannot escape my beautiful smelling organs, Freddy. Oh,
It's a
yes,
good thing
indeed.
my
You
name isn't
just
Freddy.
treat me with that smell, don't you? Anyway, speaking of traumatizing aspects, today we're going to get r/traumatized them back, which is a
Now
beautiful
I'm gonna
subreddit
fast
of really
forward.
snazzy comebacks and places where you just traumatize people back. They're being really mean or over the top, or just get back at your bullies, that kind of vibe. And I do hope you're here for it.
I'm
Enjoy.
trying to
Mwah.
figure
Oh,
this
by the
out.
way, I think it's important to
I
have a
was about
disclaimer in the
40
video
something
talking about
minutes
trauma
in.
and those serious subjects. In the link in the description, you can find. This feels like that.
30
Very.
minutes.
I always remember it was really hot. Price range for that stuff is maybe like. Take the credit. They said I was being very me. If
Wait,
you have younger, the gifts.
I'm looking
What deal
for.
is that? With
I
brief
believe
periods where
I
we'd have
called it
throw around
scaring
so
and
much,
scarring
and
my
I
bully for
don't think
life.
people realize the
That's what I think I called
implications
it.
of an errand or a stalker. Zero
Okay, hold
info,
on.
and yet you're gonna jump and
Looking for
assume
it.
like the one side instantly. Ah! Depending on how petty I'm feeling, usually hit. If anything, it should be a reason for them to
All
treat
right. By
you
the way, I
better.
love this creator. I love the
I
click. He's
recently
great.
found out that I am preggo, and unfortunately, the father happened to be the married pastor of my church. Oh, this is some small town drama stuff.
Nope, no small town
I
drama
don't want my
here.
to get a paternity test done before making the scene, because someone like this is not going to all of a sudden like be in on it. If anything, they would try to turn the situation against you and be like, oh, look how hysterical they are doing this in church and lying in the house of our Lord, or you know, something like that.
That's
They probably have a little spiel prepared as well in worst case. So getting the proof first is probably a good idea. And don't expect a person like this to actually share in the parenting. I think at best, getting child support is a really good way to go with that if they don't want to step up to their responsibilities. Because someone who's this dishonest and deceitful, embarrassed to apologize, and they hope some aggressive comments about how it's something awkward, because it's like, I'm an adult. If I'm asleep on a Saturday,
towards the end of this
it's actually
video,
no one's business. If I pay the rent for my house and I go because they think we are wasting our time, I was thinking too. Ring and scarring my bully for life.
So at 43:07, it's this one.
Trigger warning. So in 11th grade, 2016 to 2017, there was a secret gift exchange going on at the small school I went to. I got the
So the secret gift exchange was like Secret Santa, but they weren't allowed to call it Secret Santa, but it was like a pre-winter break thing. And it was all randomized. And apparently people, like the teachers, knew that this bully got my gift, and they told her, don't give her contraband, which is what, or don't give her anything threatening, because they knew about the bullying. They would constantly have to break up physical fights between us. I would go home with like bruises on my ribs and shit, and like my hair completely fucked up, which is actually why I shaved it for the first time in 2018. Anyway, let's keep going.
I was dating at the time and gave him a blanket and a hoodie. That is so sweet. My bully.
Okay, so the blanket and hoodie thing. Oh my god. I fucking made that blanket. It was like a twist tie blanket. I don't know if you guys would know what that is. Also, just to clarify, my aunt, she just knew I was into horror and makeup. She didn't know anything about this.
Handled my gift. Goody. The nice stuff when names are scrambled and that kind of thing. And the treats. She got a small wooden box with a Jack Skellington wrapping paper and said, open this when you get home. I tried to open it in front of her, but she said, I will...
2 red flags, but also I love Jack Skellington, so that should have been the first red flag, honestly.
Just hold on to it. She gave it to me on the way out of school. I opened it, 4 razor blades with the words "End It" carved into the lid. Cat. Oh my god. I mean, even for like a teenage bully, that's really fucking low. Holy crap. So doing what any...
So, like... She like, I'm pissed at my high school because I didn't learn anything about real life, and I didn't learn anything about, like, and because they didn't do shit about this bully. They literally did nothing. And since I was better at fighting than her, I would get in trouble for the fighting. All right.
Eddie, 16-year-old with a ton of SFX makeup and extensive knowledge on how to make fake blood scars and stitches, I got my mom and sister involved, and we got to work. It was winter break. My aunt, who had no idea about this, gifted me a professional special effects kit. Every morning from the beginning of 2017 all the way through the day I graduated, I would sit...
June 6, 2018.
...with my mom, and she would help me with the stitches, the placements of the rigid collodion and...
Collodion.
Red eyeshadow, and everyone thought I had tried to do it, so to say. My bully was given ISS every day and was searched for...
In-school suspension. In-school suspension. That's what ISS means. I've had people ask me that. The school I went to, quote, didn't send people home. Like, one time I had pneumonia. And we found out about it in school, and my mom was, like, on the phone with the nurse. cussing her out. And it was like one of the last days of the school year, so she just was just like, "You're going to the hospital and you're not going back to school." But I had a fucking pneumonia in like 8th grade. And I had a fever of like 116 or something. And the nurse was like, "Oh, no, no. You have to come pick her up at 2:30 when everyone else gets on the bus. We don't send people home." Yeah, my mom was there within like a half an hour. Just putting that out there.
For school for the remainder of 2017. 6 whole months. Oh my God, I mean, for very good reason, Jesus Christ. And I would do the same routine every morning. My mom would come pick me up to go to get my stitches out or go to therapy. And we would get Red Robin to see a movie or go to Hot Topic or something.
The fact that we were regulars at Red Robin that year to the point where they knew me by name, and at one point they also knew about this game, about this traumatizing. It's I'm kind of proud of how my special effects makeup skills were back then. But after doing collodion of various levels on my arm for an entire year and a half, I kind of avoid that stuff like the plague now.
I mean, sounds like a treat, though. What a good vibe with your mom, hell yeah. We would just make the scar smaller and less obvious, but still visible every day for a year and a half.
Yeah.
The day I graduated,
we made it look specifically like a keloid scar, which is a very deep kind of scar that is bumpy and raised.
My mom and I walked up to the bullies' table before we left. I asked if they wanted to see something cool, and then I took some water and got it to loosen the rigid collodion,
collodion, and like actually had like it was water mixed with like a type of like makeup remover sort of deal. So like I had like micellar water, it wasn't just regular water.
fake scar tissue makes the skin look rigid like it's scarring or scarred. And then I
That's how the Joker got his scars.
ripped the scar off my skin like a wax strip. My family and I went to Red Robin with my best friend and her mom after that. Oh my God! The absolute dedication!
I forgot to mention when I posted this on Reddit, that I dropped the fake scar onto her plate and said, have a nice life, and then I left.
I mean, I really like that kind of payback, honestly, and they had to live with that, get searched every day in school, like see it day in, day out, like this, like, therapy and the scarring and stuff after that, even if it isn't real. I hope that person really learned a lesson, because that is so awful to do. I mean, crappy teenagers and all that kind of stuff, but this is so far over the line for this crappy teenager stuff. I mean, if you pick the wrong person on the wrong day, something like that can really push someone over the edge. This is like so far beyond what would be deemed acceptable, even in like shitty prank context. This is so far over the line. So
I also I also made an extra batch because I know how to make fake blood look real. The secret is corn syrup, red dye, like red food dye, but put some orange, like a really dark orange type of pigment in there. For example, I would like get a tiny little like swatch of orange lipstick and mix it in with the food dye and the corn syrup. And syrup-based blood, actually, you can put it in your mouth and like you can choke, and it's really good special effects makeup. So like, you can like make it look like you're choking on blood and shit. It's really cool, actually. I would fucking love to make a video about that. But yeah.
really hope they learned a lesson. I hope they were really humiliated, felt bad about it for a long time, and never did it again. Not entirely sure, because people like this seems to...
The bitch tried to apologize, and I said, okay. And I walked away. And then she tried to grab me, and I was like, is there a problem? This was like recent too. And she's like, I need closure, please. And I was like, here's your closure. I don't forgive you, and you're not getting any. So yeah, basically, my sister pulled me away from her. Not my sister, someone who was near me but wasn't hanging out with me pulled me away from her. And a whole ass group of people in the mall saw her like grabbing my arm and begging for forgiveness, and she made this huge scene, and I just stood there watching her.
Be a bit of 50-50 if they actually change or not, but
They
I
didn't.
think you made a very beautiful effort, and the relationship with your mom and sister sounds like an absolute blast.
So it's not an absolute blast. Like, it's a very tumultuous relationship between my mother and I. It's very, we argue a lot. But, we argue and fight a lot, and, I don't like it. She doesn't like it. But that year we did get to bond a lot. And the reason she helped me with this stuff was because she was a nurse. So she knew, and this is not going to be a lesson in self-harm. This is just a lesson in anatomy. She knew where the vein was, and she would help me find the vein every morning. I did most of the work with the makeup. She really just made the stitches look convincing for like the first couple weeks I had it. And also, obviously, I would have off days where I would just wrap my arm in an ace bandage or something. Because you can't put this kind of stuff on your skin every single day. You could develop allergies. It could negatively affect your skin. You could get infections. It's a bit complicated. And my relationship with my mother is also complicated. But high school sucks, man. That's the message here. Yeah.